Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Heavy Rotation. So you want to be in the music business? All right. So we're going to talk about today radio. I want to give you a breakdown on the formats, the methods, how they look at picking up and putting a record on the radio station, all the different components and pieces that are necessary for you to get your record on. Okay. Obviously, your main goal is to get your record played on the radio station. Right? There's crossover radio, there's urban radio, there's urban radio, there's pop, there's country, there's Latin, there's jazz, there's gospel, there's talk shows. All these radio stations. Your goal is to get your record played at as many stations as possible. Right? Some major corporation own a lot of the radio stations. That means that one corporation, if you lock that one in, you're able to get your record played in many other stations. Uh, Radio One, Clear Channel, Evergreen. Those are some of the corporations that I'm talking about. They also have, excuse me, they also have like a master playlist. So let's say if one station picks up a particular record, they're gonna send that information to their sister stations to make sure they all got the same information. The record's popping in their market, or they're getting a buzz on and all that stuff. Keep alert, watch out for it and all that. There are P1 stations. P1 stations are stations that are over 1 million listeners. Um, FM, AM, talk radio. Don't sleep on any of the radio stations. Just because it's an AM doesn't mean that they can't give you any kind of play or sales. Think of Radio Disney. They own more than 82 radio stations. They don't go out to promote any of their artists on other radio stations, but they utilize their station to catapult their artists, and most of the artists go platinum on an AM station. Okay? So don't sleep on that. There are a lot of labels right now that are fighting just to get on a Disney radio format. Just to give you that example. Okay. Let's talk about the actual radio station itself. You have your air personality. And your air personality could be your morning show, your afternoon show, your evening show, your lunchtime, and even the in between in the afternoon or early evening and late evening, late night. Okay, you have your PDs and you have your MDs. Okay, your PD meaning program director and MD meaning music director. Every one of these components have meetings. They have meetings with their counterparts to gather information. So you can't just give your record to a radio station and think it's hot, they're gonna play it, they're gonna love it and all that. They're looking for a story. What they're looking for is to see if any of their jocks, mix show DJs, playing this record. Did they hear about the record? If they're not playing it on the radio, they're playing it in the club. Is it buzzing in that manner? They also look at retail. Is this record selling in the stores? Are the stores talking about this record? Right? They also look at what's happening in the clubs. Right? Doesn't have to be their mix show DJs. Some of these PDs and MDs frequent clubs. They get a barometer of what's happening with the music. They go to that club, they frequent it, and they say, this guy got a good, a little pulse of what's happening with music today. And when he hears something new, he'll probably go up to the DJ booth if he has that relationship and say, yeah, what's that record you just played? I like it. Okay? And he could bring that to their weekly meeting and say, listen, this record's starting to happen. I think that we should go on this record and see what's happening. Now, the formats of most of the radio stations, they go testing a record, light, medium, and heavy. Okay? Most of the time they have anywhere from a top 10 to a top 20 to a top 30 playlist. This playlist is given to all the disc jockeys, all the air personalities, and this is their mainstream play. We want you to make sure you play this record. That's what they're talking about. Okay? After that, there'll be a medium, a light, and test. Some mix show DJs, and I'm saying you really got to know whether the mix show DJ has this capability, has this authority, has this power. Some of them have the authority to play a record. They don't need to go and ask. If they believe in the record, the radio station backs them up and believes that this guy has good judgment, knows our format of music, knows the clientele that we're catering to, and they allow him to do that. You need to know what DJs have that kind of juice. because those people are cut a lot of the red tape that you have to go through. All right. Um, I think we covered everything. The only other thing that I could talk about on the whole radio format is that you need to have your BDS. Your BDS is basically a search program for records that are being played on the air. Every time a record gets played on the air, somebody gets paid some royalties. So what happens is there's different companies. There is one company that's set up to do that, but there are different companies that are affiliated with that. In other words, different individuals that have the BDS program already instilled into their company format, so that way anybody hires them, they can automatically research and find out what's happening in your record. The best thing about BDS is that when you go to radio and you say, my record's hot, the first thing they're going to ask you, okay, hot where? Is it playing anywhere? And if you can pull up a BDS and say, it's playing at this radio station in LA, this other station in Texas, this other station in Florida, and you show that, and you show that momentum that they went from a test, a light, a medium, and now they're on heavy rotation on the air with your record, they at least know that, one, you're serious about what you're doing with your record. Two, you got a good story, all right, as far as radio. Because you also got to back that up with what DJs are playing it, what clubs are playing it, and then what's happening in retail. Or if there's another single coming, or if there's an album coming, if there's a video. All those things play a big role in getting your record played on the radio. You can't think of, you can't think that you could do this and get away with getting your record on the radio without doing that. That only happens, like I said, if you have a particular DJ that likes a particular record that said, you know what, I'm playing this, it's hot, it's going to be banging. Other than that, that's about it. I'm going to drop some names. And always drop some names of people that I feel is reputable, that have relationship with radio stations. Obviously, when you're working a record or relationship, it's the most important thing. How are you going to get to the radio station, PD, MD, mix show DJ, air personality, if you don't know? The time that you try to get through the doors to meet them, set up a meeting and all that, there are go-to people that have that relationship already in place that you could go to. You pay them a fee, naturally. But they're able to go to all these radio stations. They do this every week, every day. And they can find out what's happening with your record, or they can get your record played on those stations and make sure DJs. And that because they have that relationship, they build up the story for you. So let's talk about Iggy Sanchez. That's a good guy to go to. Good R&B, crossover hip hop. Taish Harris, good underground hip hop, R&B. Vince Pellegrino, very good for your crossover, pop, urban music, dance. Those are I'm just mentioning a few. I think what's important for you to realize is that when I mention these names, and I may mention them a couple of different episodes for different things that they do, because some of them do many facets. So they're capable of doing a couple of different things. So I'm not trying to brown nose anybody or trying to say, hey, this is my boy. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, these are the best people that you can call that can do the job that you need to get done. Other than that, I thank you so much for tuning in. I see you next week. I hope you enjoy the information that I gave you, and I hope you use it. And don't forget, email me at heavyrotationpromo@yahoo.com. And thank you so much.